I want to talk about when is it legal to break God's law. I know you've heard so much about the Ten Commandments and obeying God's law. Is there ever an incident where it's legal to break a law of God? Is there precedent for it? Is there allowance to legally break a law? I was driving on a freeway and I almost ended up in a cataclysmic crash on a 5-lane freeway. I mean, it was going to be catastrophe. It was going to be the end of my vehicle, for sure, and maybe the end of me. And at the last millisecond, I had one choice to make and no time to think about it. It was simply to swerve all the way to my left, which was going into a forbidden, high-speed, fast-track lane that had been recently installed so cars can go through at 60, 80, 90 miles an hour with no stopping. I didn't have time to think about the consequence of it. I only had time to just do it. Only after the fact, I was right near at the right moment to swerve into a forbidden lane and go over barriers. Had I not done that, my car would have been nearly totaled, and God knows what was going to happen to me. Less than a second, I had to make that decision. I survived. I broke a law to survive, to live. I did. And every other car did not. Every other car did not. I swerved back into the proper lanes where I could be out of the violation within a few seconds. And the whole freeway was empty where I was at and in front of me. What was behind me was a cascading, monumental buildup of cars, and everything was stopped. I was on my way to do a song called In My Final Hour, written 15 years, 20 years ago. Never recorded it. And I almost had my final hour. I broke a law to survive. When can you break a law and it's the right thing to do? Swerving into a lane to avoid a crash or to avoid death? Yes, you can. Groceries in your hand, earthquake, buildings about to collapse. Do you go to the register and pay for those? Do you run out? You're running out. You're not going to get convicted for not paying for the groceries. There are times where breaking the law is the right thing to do. Where are those Jews you're hiding? Tell us now. We're killing every last one of them. Do you tell them? I cannot tell a lie. Really? Is there a time when it's not a lie, but a time to save a life that vetoes the lie? You get a pass. Someone is breaking in your house, thou shalt not kill. And they've got your wife down on the floor with a knife. You got a gun in your hand. I can't kill him. No, but you'll let him kill your wife? Does that make sense? That's the time to break the law. Kill the perpetrator. Kill the perpetrator. Save your wife. There is a time. You know, you're not supposed to commit suicide. You're in the middle of a storm. They throw your life raft. You don't have time to put it on yourself. You have time to put it on your son and the water. The water's pulling you under. The storm is raging. They're rushing to save life. They got to get out in time. Take my son. It's a type of suicide, isn't it? We call it sacrifice. You give up your life so another one can live. There's a time to legally break a law. Honor thy father and mother. Your father's a meth head, your mother's a drunk. Your mother's a meth head, your father's a drunk. They both are drunks and they both are meth heads. I must honor them. Do what they tell me to do. Have you had parents that have told you to do the wrong thing for the wrong reason? To violate a moral law? You worked with people who told you to cheat on the accounting, on the books? Oh, just write that off. But hey, I'm paying you. To cheat? No. Paying you to lie? No. Do you hide? Do you become complicit in a crime because somebody else is threatening you? No. To save someone else's life is one thing. To become complicit to save your own is another. Do I honor or do what my father, my mother, my sister, my brother's telling me to do? But Dad, oh, don't say anything to your mother. But Dad, that's not mom's, that's another woman. What are you doing? I will keep this secret. Don't let your mother know. I got to honor my father. No, you got to honor the truth. That happened in my family. I said, you either tell her or I'm going to tell her. No, you go tell her. I cannot hold this lie and watch my sister abused this way. Do you honor your mother and father when they are making you lie? That is not what honor. Honor is a good word, by the way. We don't reserve that word for demons and devils and rebellious witches and warlocks. It is a word that is holy, noble, moral, and decent. It is not reserved for liars and thieves and murderers, even though they are your mother and father. It is a word that teaches the respect of a parent who is living right. In fact, in Scripture, they are rebuked for continuing the sins of their mother and father. Oh, I'm honoring my mother and father. Did they tell you to do the right thing and you weren't doing the right thing? Now you want to honor them and do the right thing? Or were they a horrible example of the wrong thing and you're honoring them by continuing that legacy? That's forbidden. There's a time to break the law when not to honor a mother and father, a dishonorable, rebellious, sinful, wicked mother and father, and you go the other way and leave your family's house and tear down the statues as Gideon did in front of his father's house. There is a time to break the law, and it's actually obeying it in the right way. Thou shalt not steal when you're hungry and starving and going for bread in a store and you're a little orphan on the street. Do you convict a child because it's hungry for taking the bread off the counter and feeding himself? Is it stealing or is it surviving? There is a time to understand it. Thou shalt remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. How many break the Sabbath? How many violate God's Sabbath? Oh, wow. Did David ever break the Sabbath? That was the third commandment, by the way. David was feeding his troops. He broke in to the storage house of the Lord in the grains to feed his starving troops, the king. Yeshua once said, which of you whose ox falls into a hole on the Sabbath day, something happens and the ox needs to be saved, would just leave it or would not go to save the child? Yet you're condemning me because I'm working, because you call it work to heal somebody who's sick on the Sabbath, to help somebody who's sick on the Sabbath. Oh, you're not supposed to be doing anything. Does that also include not saving a life, not feeding a hungry child, or even saving an animal? The law wasn't made for the law's sake, but for righteousness' sake. It is righteous to do right on the Sabbath. You don't take a rest from righteousness. You take a rest from the labor of your hands, where you may benefit personally. But to save a life, to feed a hungry soldier. I had a soldier in our army. The government is shut down. He needed help. Hardly anybody, just one person, sent support. I said, we need to help this soldier. Oh, no response. I said, I need someone to give a donation. No response. Ignored the text, ignored the messages, nothing. They don't think like that. Of course, it's right to do righteousness on the Sabbath. I can't. The Sabbath is starting. I can't do what's right. Well, my Sabbath started yesterday. I was sitting down with my Sabbath meal. The windows are closed. The curtains are closed. I'm at peace. I'm quiet with the Lord, as I am every Shabbat. And as I've been observing Shabbat faithfully for the last 3 years, faithfully, only 2 occasions in 3 years had I broken it. And it was to save a life. Two occasions to save a life. There was an occasion where the apartment complex was going to be banging on the building, doing some construction. And even in that, I didn't buy anything. I simply left in my car to drive, and the rabbis, Hasidics, would disagree with even driving, but there was no labor involved. It wasn't about the electronics, but I got in the car to drive long enough to come back when all of that was going to be done. I didn't buy gas, just got in the car to get out. It's one time. It's only those several times until last night. An emergency. Someone begged and called for help. Who? Someone I had met hours before my Shabbat was to begin, getting the things I needed to prepare my Shabbat meal. Hours before. And as I walked into the store in the middle of the day, there was someone outside the store with a mask on their face. No one else had it, just him. I said, wow, I haven't seen that for a while. Why do you have the mask? He says, pretty much none of your business. What do you care? And I thought that was such a great answer, because it wasn't any of my business. And the better question was, why do you care? What do you need to know for? I said, well, and I explained that to him. I said, well, you're the only second person this week I've seen, and one was on a completely opposite end of the town, and she too had a mask. She worked at a store, and I couldn't understand anything she was saying. I was just figuring out, why don't you just pull it down so I can hear what you're saying? She had to keep talking, and then she had to talk louder because her words sound like Charlie Brown Christmas. It's just mumbling, blah, 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 blah. And you're the second person I've seen. She was an old lady. You're a young guy, and I'm just wondering why you have the mask on. Thought maybe you have a sickness, you have a disease, there's something going on. And then he said, no, I have acne. I have really bad acne. And I immediately thought of one of the soldiers I support and help in our army, who also has severe acne. And I had helped him cure that and heal that and treat that. And he wasn't much difference in the age of the soldier. So immediately I thought of my soldier, and we're at the store where I bought the medication and the treatments. And what did I do? I said, come in the store. There's a section that has treatment for that. I'll get that for you. And he couldn't believe it. He was like, wow, really? I'm like, yes, I will get that for you. Come in and pick it out. And he came in. I had a credit, and I was going to use that credit to help the young man. I was going to use it for myself, but now I'm using it to help him. And I walked in, I found the right person that's over the department for medications. And I said, listen, this young man, he needs help with acne. And I figured that you would know the best products. He can talk to you and tell you what he needs, and you could look at him and why don't you give him some recommendations? I bought some stuff here, but why don't you talk to him? And I introduced him to the worker to talk to him. And he came to a conclusion. I said, all right, well, meet me at the register and I'll get that for you. Well, I had other things I needed to get. So I went right to the register so to not keep this young man's time. And I had them ring it up, and I just says, don't worry, they've got it in the register now, you can go. And he thanked me and he walked off. And I continued to talk and to the people in the store and get the things that I needed. I was in there for probably 20 minutes after that. And then I walk out. And as I'm walking out, 20 minutes later, the moment I walk out the door, the guy is to my left, just standing off by the carts to my left. And he immediately calls for me. And I ended up having a little longer conversation with him. A little longer conversation. And I felt some sadness for him. And I had some credit left on the card I was using. It was a store card. And I had some credit left on it. And I said, here, take this. There's some credit on it. You can use it to go get something else, a sandwich or a drink. And I was just taken by the fact that he was so grateful and so thankful. And it all started with, none of your business. Why do you care to know? Which I love that response. It's kind of a response I would have given. Hallelujah. He wanted me to buy cigarettes for him. I said, my father died of cancer. I don't want to buy you cigarettes. I don't want to buy you cigarettes. And he goes, no, I'm clean. I said, what drugs have you done? I did mushrooms. I said, well, mushrooms and psychedelics can really mess you up. I only did it twice. I'm fine. I just, well, the cigarettes are not good for you. I said, but you already know that, don't you? I walked off, and the Lord said, open up your wallet. And I had forgotten. I didn't know. I had a $20 bill in my wallet. I had forgotten it. I had set it aside for gas. And I opened up my wallet. I said, take this. I said, I can't control what you're going to use it for. God gives you the freedom to do with your life what you will. I'm just going to say you shouldn't buy cigarettes with it. You should use it for something good. And he could see it was the only money I had in my wallet. He goes, that's all you got? Yeah. It's yours. And he was overwhelmed by it. And he said he was on the street. It made me very sad. I said, I can't do much more for you today. I said, but take down my number. And maybe in a few days I can figure out something to help you. I went home. Went home, prepared for my Sabbath. What a wonderful time. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, I get a call. I get a call hours later while I'm sitting, resting, and preparing to have my Shabbat meal. And it's the homeless young man. I had already been praying about him while I was preparing my Sabbath meal. And I felt sad that I'm eating this meal. I felt sorry for him. Very sad. And he says, I have nowhere to sleep. Can I crash at your place? I have nowhere to sleep. And in that moment, I'm having to decide what to do. And it was a very difficult decision. Very. So I asked the Lord, what should I do? I'm confused, Father. And the Spirit says, confused about what? Someone's asking you for help. Is it more about your Sabbath food in front of you? It's the Shabbat. And an ox has fallen into a hole. Help him. Told you. Only 3 times. What are you going to do? Someone is saying, I have nowhere to sleep. You ignore him? I said, I'll be there. Give me an hour. And text me again. Can you come sooner? Okay, give me 15 minutes. I wanted an hour to try to plan and see what could be done. And I was really in not a place to have him. Of course, I guess I could have had him crash here. Somehow or another, I just didn't feel that was what I should do. I'm going to have to find a place for him. I've got to go and find a place for him. Papa, the Sabbath is beginning. It is pretty much 30 minutes from the start of my Sabbath. Then I've got to go and meet this homeless man. And I was trying to see if I rush, but where could I take him? I'd have to buy. I'd have to spend money. Papa said, go help him. When helped him, he thought he was going to be coming back to, I just need one night's good rest somewhere. Can I stay with you? And I said, Father, help me. He said, well, there were some motels and hotels along the corridor. Buy him a room. Get him a room, like the innkeeper with the Good Samaritan story. Get him a room. Don't say, any other day I would have, but it's my Sabbath. No. Okay, Father. And of course I'm thinking about my Sabbath, but I am remembering this is a human being in front of me. And he asked for help. Turn him away because I can't spend money on the Sabbath. Break in the grains and feed my army. Put in the effort of the labor to bring an ox out of a hole. This is a human being. And yes. And what did I end up doing? Going to try to find a place, a room for him. The first place, they were no room. It was sold out. It was going to be $130, $130 I didn't have. I'm still trying to meet the budget of the month. Then I go to another spot. Sold out. What's going on? There's an event over at the fairgrounds. All the hotels sold out. Then we go to another spot. Oh, we have one room here that's going to be $200. Why? Well, we're sold out, so the one room is really up. The prices have up because of the event. The hotels are taking advantage of the event. Why? They know people have to be here for the event. We're not going to charge them regular price. We're going to charge them more. We can make more money since they have to be in the area. We go to another one. Over $200. We go down to another one. $180. They make a phone call to one of their sister hotels to find some place that is 5 miles away. He said it was always cheaper. He called his sister hotel 5 miles away from the event. They were more, $300 one night. Go down to another spot, sold out. This one, another one, over $200. One last stop before I would have to bring him here. The sixth stop. And the sixth stop was a place where I ended up having the conversations inside the restaurant. And how did that happen? I go and pull up to the sixth spot. $130. Wow. Didn't know how that was possible. Every other place was sold out or $200 or $180. $130, the last spot. Went in, got a room for him, and asked him, was he hungry? He's in a room, but there's no food. I said, I'm going to go to the restaurant and get the food right here for you. Wait, and I'll bring it up. And that's when I went in the restaurant and the ministry with all of those people in the crowd. When I got back, I bought the food. He wanted to talk, and he looked like he needed to sleep. When I gave him the food, had a small talk, not much. He needed to rest. He was ready. He was collapsed. He had been on the street. I gave him his food. I gave him his drink. And I said, I'll be back by checkout time to check on you for wherever you need to be dropped off. I'll come back tomorrow and check to see what you need. The story of the Good Samaritan. Only it's the good African American in this place, in this case. And I left him. I blessed him and left him. Then I remembered the vision, the dream I had 3 days ago. It's actually on the podcast. And ironically, if you listen to that podcast about the dream and the demons and the events that happened in the dream are exactly the events that happened last night. When to break the Sabbath, when it's to save a life, when it's to help someone in distress. And now you're not breaking it, you are honoring the Sabbath. For the only reason why Papa would allow it. He hates divorce, but when you violate the covenant and you betray your marital vows, he allows it. There are situations where certain of those commandments are allowed. And others, there is never a reason to pick another God and violate. You shall have no God but me, for I'm a jealous God. You don't violate that at all. There is no justification for the violation of abandoning God for an idol and false God. Wisdom will teach us how to think and how to live our life accordingly. And I was thinking about it this morning when I heard the dream podcast I had a few nights ago. All of the rooms in the dream and the things that were going on, the wickedness, and these kind of low-end hotels has a lot of the rooms and all kinds of wickedness going on in each of these rooms. Even the dog that had grabbed my hand and tried to communicate to me, that was this young man. He just wanted to sit with me, wanted to be with me, wanted to talk. He needed comfort. He needed companionship. He needed fellowship. And in a dream, I only talked a little bit with that dog in the dream that wanted company. And then I had to leave it. That's exactly what happened. All of the people in that dream were the people that I had met in the restaurant. And the young man, the boy who needed help, who was lost, that was him. He couldn't have been more than 19 years old. Very sad. He's supposed to go to a shelter on Monday to get a room, he said. I told him to contact me. I'll go and talk with the owners of the shelter. He didn't think he'd get in. I says, I'll see if I can help you get in. What do? We honor the Shabbat when we're saving a life, when someone is called in distress that needs help. No matter if you're sitting down for dinner. Does God have a right to interrupt your schedule like the young man in the restaurant who doesn't have time for God because of his schedule? Most of you know. I can call for help and someone will say it's too far. I can call for help and someone says I'm asleep. I can call for help and say I'm too busy. I've had that happen to me more than often. Too much to even recount. Don't you ever be a person like that. Don't be that person at the other end telling somebody you can't, you won't. Just do it. Honor God's commandments in the best way. Amen. Yeah, the dream was warning people they would not listen to me. I walked through a building. In each room, there was something wicked going on. I looked through the glass. It was all transparent. They weren't really hiding it. And I had to go and look for one particular person who was drowning in the water, overwhelmed. I couldn't find him. I came back through the wicked building. Each building had a door. People would run in. One of the guys was running from me. He ran into a room where wickedness was going on. Sexual wickedness. And each room had a different wickedness. One man was up by himself on a computer. Then there was other people, couples, interracial. And there was this one particular main man. And I put on a robe, danced my talit with my Nigerian cap. So they couldn't figure out what I was exactly. I danced. Then there was a little boy in the dream. I had to get home. He got lost. Then we found him. I told him, I will find the boy. I will look and find him. Important. And I found him. He was 12, 13 years old. And there was the land, the city. I tried to warn them, but they rejected me. But I kept warning them. And the main man, the family, the well-off family in a house, they had somebody working for them they didn't like. I told them, you can get rid of her, you can switch her out. And each house I went through, one I had to go through, and the dog recognized me. The dog treated me with love and kindness, but not the human. And the dog was listening to me and wanted to stay with me, and it bowed in front of me, and it communicated to me. It was interesting. And I go through the yard, because I could only get to the gate of the other house through the yard. There was mud mixed with clay. They didn't understand what it was. Passed through the house, get to the other house. It's a family. It looks to be people that were like islanders, Hawaiian or Samoan. And the mother, I began to minister to this family. It was quite profound. I wasn't well, but I was still strong. Just like yesterday, I wasn't well. The demonic attacks against my ministry, and the demonic attacks against those that listen and follow my ministry. You see, the devil cannot inhibit or impede me directly. So he will use those who claim to support the work and believe in God to be a thorn in my side, to trouble me, or to not support the God's work I do. The Lord made it very clear. Those who claim to believe will be the tool that the devil will use to attack. It is very interesting and revealing. And of course, who else could he possibly use? For those that claim to be disciples and sensitive to God's word. Was it not Judas? Was it not Thomas? Of course. The enemy is clever, but predictable. But God is God, and they will never win. No matter the evil intent in which the enemy may use them, because the enemy is behind it, and he cannot win. And if the enemy cannot win, then those he uses cannot win. The Lord will be victorious.
So many places, so many faces, Every day I see, everywhere I go, people who need the Lord. In cardboard boxes, the homeless sleep. On the streets, our children weep. Brothers killing brothers and sisters too. Broken families, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? The love of God, how deep, is so wonderful. Just to know His love, what a miracle. I just can't understand why some say no to God. Some trust in money, some trust in foolish things, but I put my trust in Jesus. He's my King. He's a friend to the friendless. He's a mother and father too. And He wants to love you. He's just waiting for you. He's just waiting for you. The love of God, how deep, it's so wonderful. Just to know His love, what a miracle. I just can't understand how some say no to God. The love of God, how deep, it's so wonderful. Just to know His love, what a miracle. I just can't understand why some say no to God. The love of God, how deep, it's so wonderful. Just to know His love, what a miracle. I just can't understand why some say no to God. I just can't understand why some say no to God. Don't say no to God. Don't say no to God. He's calling you. He's calling.
Sometimes when you're going through it, it's hard to see a way out of it. But I want Israel to know today, our brothers and sisters in the Middle East, that God sees you, God loves you, and if you call on Him, He'll deliver you out. Somewhere, somebody's lonely. Somewhere, spirits are low. Someone's heart is broken, yeah, filled with pain and war. Oh,
so much confusion. Somewhere sorrow is high. Someone's heart is wounded. And I don't know why, but oh Lord, I don't know when, but I'm sending you there. Please touch somebody right now. I know that you can if you will, Lord. Somewhere. Somewhere somebody needs your hand, and if you touch right now, I know they'll understand. There is no battle, no battle. No. You have not won. No. What you can do, just can't be done. Lord, I don't know when, but I'm sending you there. I'm sending you there. Please touch somebody. Touch somebody. Right now. I know that you can if you will, Lord. Somewhere. Listen, somewhere somebody needs your hand, Lord. And if you touch right now, I know they'll understand. There is no battle, no battle. You have not won. You have not won. What you can do, just can't be done. But I'm sending you there. I don't know who. But I know you'll come through. I don't know when, but I know you'll come in. Lord, I know you will. I don't know who. I don't know when, but I know you'll come through. I know you'll come through, Jesus. I don't know when, but I know you'll come in. Please touch somebody right now. Right now, Lord. Somewhere. Somebody needs your hand, and if you touch them right now, Lord, I know they'll understand. There is no battle, no battle. You have not won. You have not won. What you can do, just can't be done. No, I don't know where, I don't know when, but I'm sending you there. I know you'll be there. I don't know when, I don't know, but I know you'll come in. I don't know who, but I know you'll come through.